Sometimes God will hold the door shut. And we know He's all about opening doors for us. But sometimes He will hold that door shut until you are strong enough on the inside to walk through it. Today, I want to talk about what it really takes to become her. The woman you see in your vision, the one you pray for, that you dream about, and sometimes you may even doubt her. I'm still figuring it out. In that part, it doesn't disqualify me or you. Welcome to my channel. This series is called Become Her First. It's a space where we're going to focus on who we are before anything, before we're trying to attract, achieve, or attach ourselves to something, because becoming her, it really starts within. And you want to know what's crazy? I didn't even realize I was being prepared to qualify for this exact moment. I had stepped away for a while, secluded myself. What I thought was just a break or a loss of motivation, it just ended up being a heart check. It was me taking a moment to just understand who I am and where I'm at. And if I'm being honest, I felt like I was losing way more than I was gaining. But that was because I didn't understand the inner work that was happening. Because on the outside, I looked like I was falling off. I gained weight. I stopped showing up for myself physically. I didn't even recognize who I saw in the mirror. But now that I look back, that season, it was a sacrifice. It was a breakdown so something deeper could be built. And this began over a year ago, way before I thought that I was going to get laid off or that my life was going to take a shift in this way. I had been sitting in this season for so long and didn't even realize it. It's crazy how life really has a wild way of working. But everything comes together one way or another, even when we don't see it happening. During this time, I've come to understand a few things, and I want to share with you because I have this feeling that I'm not the only one. We either all have been in this season or in this season or one day may be going through this season. So if I can prepare you not to make the same mistakes that I made, I'm here to do that. Because your character, your heart, the inside of you is the most valuable part of your journey. It's going to prepare you for those moments you don't expect. And it prepares you to be obedient when God says move. But so many of us, we try to skip this part. We try to jump right into the aesthetics of becoming her, the looks, the glow up, the transformation that people can see. But the part that's actually going to carry and sustain us is that part that happens within. Because look, we're always being fed this misconception that there's some type of destination, or social media puts this vision in our head of where we should be or how we should look and what we should be doing in our daily lives. But the truth is, it's not a destination, it's a journey, it's a daily decision. It's not about perfection, it's about showing up when it's hard, when it's ugly, when you do feel behind. Because listen, that defeated version of you, she'll try to come back. And sometimes we'll still let her. Because when you start becoming the woman you say you want to be, that weight, that pressure, it gets heavy. And you're not just responsible for your actions anymore. You're responsible for your mindset, your environment, your discipline, your response to things and people, because you will be tested. And the first thing is you gotta be real with yourself, because I don't want anybody to make the same mistakes I did. You got to recognize the season you're in, because looking back, there were signs: fatigue, disconnection, loss of motivation. My spirit was feeling attacked. And I dealt with a lot of confrontation with myself and with my loved ones. It felt like I was fighting for my life. Everything was just a fight. And I couldn't even recognize it because I was in defense mode, making excuses. It was an excuse for everything, for the reason why I'm gaining weight, for why I was pulling away from people, why I was just being lazy, why I was being complacent, but calling it comfort and thinking that I was living a life of peace when really it was the opposite. But these are signs that inner work needs to happen. You cannot heal when you're still avoiding. You can't grow when you're still denying. And you can't transform when you're still trying to perform. Because maybe you felt this too. And deep down, you have this feeling that something needs to shift. And even if you don't know how to do that, I just want you to know that's your spirit trying to wake you up, and you gotta listen to her. Once you start listening to her and you become more aware of where you're at, you'll stop fighting the season and you'll start to own it. You gotta own it, because I think sometimes we confuse owning the season with doing more, or pretending that we're fine, or rushing into the next thing, just doing things to do it. But what if I told you owning the season is so much more than doing more, but that it's really about seeing more, seeing what God is exposing in you, seeing what He's pulling out of you, seeing what needs to be healed before you try to rebuild. Because I used to think that if I could pull it all together, get it together on the outside, everything else would just line up, and that I would feel better, that I would have more motivation, that things would just start to change. And it just does not work like that. And I had to learn the hard way, because you can't build a next level life on shaky or broken foundation. So that's when you have to be willing to accept everything. And I don't want you to confuse acceptance with giving up. It isn't about staying stuck where you're at, but it is about surrendering to the work, even when the work is uncomfortable. Because have you ever tried to pray away something, fix it fast, ignore it, and hope that it disappears? Like I have, and maybe you have too, but I learned this. Sometimes God will hold the door shut. And we know He's all about opening doors for us. But sometimes He will hold that door shut until you are strong enough on the inside to walk through it, until your character can really carry the blessing that He's about to give you. So you got to stop asking yourself, why is this happening to me? And start asking, what is this trying to teach me? That's when you can start to heal, and that healing truly begins. And it's beautiful. The hard truth is, some of us aren't out of season. We're just out of alignment. Sometimes we can ignore disobedience and we'll just be calling it, well, I'm gonna wait on God's timing. This isn't God's timing, or put something about God's timing on it. And then sometimes we can just sit up and label our comfort zone and say, well, I'm at peace. I'm at peace. I'm at peace. We'll label our stagnation on, well, I'm just waiting on a sign. Like, we'll make so many excuses. We'll call it something that it really isn't. But if you're being really honest with yourself, you already know that God is nudging you. Like, he going like this because he's showing you have some things that you need to shift and that he wants you to shift. Maybe it's your habits, your circle, your actions, your words, your self-talk. And maybe it's just not about doing more, but it's about doing what actually matters. Alignment is when your spirit and your actions match. They're aligned and your values start showing up in the choices that you make. When you're not just talking about becoming her, but you start walking like her. Sometimes we just skip that season. It's a season of training, of building up. But the thing about that season is that it's the one where it feels like nobody's clapping. It's the one where it seems like nobody's calling or caring. It's when your vision feels blurry and far away. But those moments is when your character is being developed. You're not being ignored. You're being trained. You're not behind. You're being rooted, because the version of you that you're becoming, she's going to need deeper wisdom. She's going to need stronger faith. She's going to need tighter boundaries and more internal clarity than ever. And guess what? That doesn't get built during the glow up. It gets built in the dark. It gets built when you cry and you still get up. It gets built when you pray and it feels like all you're hearing is silence, but you choose to trust him anyway. When you choose obedience over your own opinion. And I realized that some of us have a gap in our character. And most people don't fail because of their lack of vision. They fail because of their lack of character. We love the idea of becoming her. I mean, that is one of the ultimate goals. But we have to realize that is going to come at a cost. It's going to cost your ego. It's going to cost your comfort zone. It's going to cost the version of you that's addicted to validation. But what that season is doing for you is closing the character gap between who you are and who you're called to be. And that process isn't always pretty, but it's worth it. So maybe like me, you're asking, how do I practically walk through this? Like, how do I show up in the in-between? Like, what am I supposed to do? And what I can tell you is you start building your inner house. And I kind of want you to think about it like this. Your identity is your foundation. Your mindset is the walls. Your habits are the roof. And your spirit, that's like the electricity or the water running through the whole thing. You have to ask yourself, is my foundation solid or is it being built on fear? Are my thoughts protecting me or sabotaging me? Are my habits preparing me for what I've prayed for? And is my spirit connected to the source or am I running off fumes? You can't live in peace in a house that's spiritually abandoned. You've got to clean up, clear out, and make room for the woman you're becoming. And if I could say something to the version of me that felt lost, that version that felt too far gone to bounce back, that felt like she missed her moment, I'll say, you're not disqualified because you doubted. You're not counted out because you fell behind. And it's never too late. You just had to heal first, and that's okay. I will remind her that God is still writing your story. He's still redeeming your pain. He's still positioning you, but He needs your participation. You don't have to feel ready. You just have to be willing. So here's the truth. Becoming her isn't something you chase. It's something that you cultivate. And when you do it from the inside out, that glow up will carry weight. Your confidence will have depth. Your peace will be real and your transformation will be sustained. Not because you've finally arrived at some type of destination, but because you finally aligned yourself. So, if this is a season that you're in, drop a heart in the comments. Let me know what you're working on. And remember, I'm walking in this with you. I'm right in the middle of it. And we're going to go deeper together. Make sure that you like, that you subscribe, and you stay locked in for what's next, because the woman you're becoming, she's already in you. We just got to build her out. I'll see you on the next one. Bye.